We're going over the top 5 tips when figuring out TDEE to finally shed that fat. Welcome back, Weight Warriors. If you're someone who's on a fat loss journey like I am, or you're planning to start one, you're in the right place. I'm Mike. I'm a fat guy trying not to be fat anymore by making lifestyle changes and documenting the progress. Let's define TDEE really quick, which stands for Total Daily Energy Expenditure. It's the number of calories your body burns in a day, including calories burned through basic body functions like breathing, digesting food, as well as the calories burned through physical activity. Understanding your TDEE is crucial for creating a weight loss plan that is tailored to your individual needs and goals. I actually made a video on TDEE diving really deep into how to calculate it and understanding what it is. All those videos are linked in the description down below. So let's kick off with tip number 1, which is actually to calculate your TDEE using an online calculator. Again, I've made a video on this, so feel free to click on that, but there are a lot of factors that go into calculating your TDEE, which include your age, gender, height, weight, activity level. But by inputting this information into a TDEE calculator, you can get a rough estimate on the number of calories your body burns in a day. Although I would say it is important to keep in mind that online calculators are not perfect and the numbers provided should be taken as a general guide rather than an exact figure. Factors such as individual differences in metabolism, genetics, can affect that accuracy of the calculation. When using an online TDEE calculator, be sure to use one that has a good reputation, that is a reliable formula. I personally recommend trying a couple out if you're less confident in the first calculation that you run, but once you get your TDEE number, you can use that again to create your weight loss plan. Tip number 2 is to hit the like button and subscribe to Weight Warriors. This really does help us with the algorithm, trying to, like I said, make an impact in the world, but feel free, like I said, to comment down below what you think so far. Moving on to the real tip number 2, be honest with yourself about your activity level when calculating your TDEE. When calculating your TDEE, it's important to be honest about yourself about how active you really are. If you're someone like me who's working a desk job, I would consider myself not highly active. I would probably put myself at the second lowest level of activity, actually. Even though I do go on walks every day, it's not the same. But on the flip side of this, if you're someone who's on your feet all day, like if you're a server and you regularly hit the gym, I'd say it's okay to put yourself as the high active level. So why is it so important? Well, it's important to understand your activity level, or to be honest with your activity level, because you might end up eating too few or too many calories. If you eat too few calories, you might slow down your metabolism, which can make it harder for you to lose weight. On the other hand, if you overestimate your activity level, you could come in eating too many calories and sabotage your weight loss efforts. So be honest and realistic with your calculation of your activity level in your TDEE. Tip number 3 is adjust your TDEE for a caloric deficit. This is kind of the secret sauce and really makes the most sense here, but when trying to lose fat and achieving your weight loss goals, you need to be in a calorie deficit. So once you've calculated your TDEE using an online calculator and factored in your activity level, you'll have a good idea of how many calories you need to maintain your current weight. But if you want to lose weight, which is kind of what we're about here, you'll need to create a caloric deficit. That is, you need to eat fewer calories than your TDEE. Now, you don't want to create too large of a caloric deficit right at the beginning. This can lead to muscle loss, slower metabolism, and other negative side effects. A moderate caloric deficit, around 500 calories a day, is pretty much a good starting point for most people, but feel free to consult your nutritionist and figure out what's best for you. To create a caloric deficit, you need to either eat less or exercise more, or really a combination of both. Eating less can be tricky, as you don't want to eat too few calories and, again, risk slowing down your metabolism. Instead, focus on eating whole, nutrient-dense foods like meats and vegetables. Increasing your activity level is also a great way to create a caloric deficit. This can include things like cardio, so running, cycling, swimming. This also can include resistance training like building muscle, strength, which really does a better job to boost your metabolism. I'm not doing either of these yet, but I would choose strength training over cardio once I start implementing more EAT into my life. Tip number 4 is track your progress and the changes to your TDEE. Once you've calculated your TDEE and adjusted your caloric intake and started on your weight loss journey, it's important to keep track of that progress and make sure you're still really on track with your TDEE. You can monitor your progress by taking body measurements such as waist circumference, body fat percentage. This can give you more of an accurate picture of your body composition rather than just the number on the scale. It can also help you see the changes that might not be reflected, again, from that number on the scale. But monitoring your progress is more than just the numbers. It's really important to pay attention to how you feel, both physically and mentally, as you're going through this journey. Are you having more energy? Are you sleeping better? Do you feel more confident and positive about yourself? These are all signs that you're on the right track and making progress towards your goals. Remember, monitoring your progress is not about obsessing over the numbers or beating yourself up when you don't see immediate results or that number go down the scale. It's about celebrating the small wins, staying disciplined, and making adjustments as needed to keep moving towards your goal. Tip number 5 is don't cut too aggressively off of your TDEE. While creating a caloric deficit is important for losing fat, it's also important to find a balance that works for you in the long run and doesn't leave you feeling deprived or unhappy or crazy irritable. The key is to find a healthy, sustainable approach that allows you to enjoy the foods you love while still making progress towards your goals. This might mean allowing yourself to occasionally have a treat or indulge, or finding a healthy alternative to some of your favorite foods. It's also important to remember that weight loss is not just about what you eat, it's about how you live your life. Make sure that you're getting plenty of sleep, managing your stress level, and staying active in ways that you enjoy. But above all, don't beat yourself up if you slip up and make mistakes along the way. It's normal to have setbacks. It's part of developing and figuring all this stuff out. But it's important, like I said, to keep moving forward. Don't miss twice, do better the next day, and stay focused on your goals. As a quick recap of our 5 tips when using TDEE calculator, number 1 is, again, use the online calculator to determine your TDEE. It makes your life a lot easier. Number 2 is to be honest about your activity level when you're filling out your TDEE calculator. Number 3 is adjust your TDEE calculator for a caloric deficit. Number 4 is monitor your progress and the changes to your TDEE throughout your weight loss journey. And then number 5 is don't be too restrictive. By following these tips and finding a healthy, sustainable approach that works for you, you'll be on your way to achieving your weight loss goals and feeling so much better in your own skin.